Yo, what's poppin', all my peeps? It is I, your host with the most renaissance man who always thinks he can, a champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, joined as always by the best of the West. You can't forget about Sarah Marshall for Pitts and Sarah's wrestling show, Raw Rewind. Sarah, what's poppin', girl? How we doing?
I am good. I'm trying to calm down from my rant. So I'm taking
Yeah,
deep
you were
I'm
getting a little
taking deep
feisty. You were
breaths.
getting feisty in the gorilla position.
Yeah, it is what
I
it is,
mean,
you know?
yeah, but that's the energy we need. I am not feeling as feisty because I'm kind of in an absorption type of mood. I'm rewatching all of the WrestleManias leading up to that. Oh, that's the favorite weekend of mine. I'm rewatching, starting with one like we just talked about. I said, why not have it go on while I just hang out? I'm at WrestleMania 4 right now.
Okay.
So before we hopped in here, I watched Andre get body slammed, and now we're watching that faithful tournament uh, and WrestleMania 4. But before that, we got to talk about before WrestleMania. We got to talk about Raw. Sarah, it was a pretty good show. I'm not gonna lie. I was entertained by it. It just every week we're gonna be entertained, and it's nice to see some sort of flow with the show.
Mhm. Yeah, and I feel like I'm at a point where I basically am looking forward to it every week, and I
Mm.
feel like it's been a while since I've had that feeling. So, that's always cool because I really couldn't tell you the last time that I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to watch Raw." I mean, there were years where I didn't watch it, like,
Mm.
because it had gotten so bad, and even when I was checking in to be like, "What's going on?" I was not interested with anything that was going on,
No.
so I'm excited that we are finally in that time period leading up to WrestleMania because I feel like there are so many good things that can happen right now, and I'm very excited.
So many. And one of those very good things that could happen came at the Elimination Chamber, the ending. We're going to just a little precursor. We'll do our own little intro into the Raw Rewind with the ending of Elimination Chamber. Obviously, Sami Zayn falls to Roman Reigns and loses in his home country, gets absolutely obliterated after the match by the Bloodline once again. More so Jimmy is excuse me, more so
Mhm.
Jimmy. And then Jay comes out, saves the day, saves him from being hit over the head, body, whatever, with the chair. And then you see KO come out and save Sammy. And then that opens the show. Sami
Mm.
Zayn opens the show, and he asked for the man that helped him. He asked for the man that came to his aid, Kevin Owens. And it was weird. Yeah, as you see on your screen, Kevin Owens, he got an apology from Sami Zayn, but he didn't accept it. Sarah, weird?
No, I said this when I was writing my notes that and I think I even tweeted it. I think that because so many people were disappointed with how the match ended and there's a lot of people that honestly believed that Sammy had a chance, and I'm not saying he didn't have a chance, but I feel like we kind of knew the writing was on the wall that it wasn't going to happen. If this happened maybe a couple months ago, then I would be, yeah, if it, if we weren't in WrestleMania season, then he probably would have won maybe. But I think that this is the direction that they had to go in because they have to try and bring some interest back into Sammy doing something with the bloodline, because now it's going to be for the most part Roman and Cody, because it has to be for the next 6 weeks or so. So there's
Yeah.
going to have to be build up and development there. And I think if they had just come out and Kevin Owens was just like, "Yep, it's cool. I forgive you. We had like 20 something years of friendship and you turned your back on me basically, blah blah blah." If he just came out and was like, "Yeah, it's all good," then like how interesting would that be for the
Wouldn't be
next 6 weeks? Like they have to do something, and I think this is the right way to do it.
and I like how he said, you know, he referenced after War Games or whenever that Raw was that he's done. He's just done with Sammy. He doesn't want to have lunch with him. He doesn't want to even fight him. He's just
Yeah.
done with him. And to bring that back, love the long term storytelling. We love the writing. And more specifically, kind of a little bit of a rewind here. Sammy saying that his problem with the bloodline, not Roman, or like no, he has a problem with the bloodline. That is what is making this the story that people aren't really getting is that it's not about the titles with Sammy. They
Hmm.
kicked out this poor, we'll say, jobber at this point of his career. I mean, he was losing to Johnny Knoxville at WrestleMania, and he comes into the bloodline and finds that family and then is booted out. That's the story. Okay.
Hmm.
Cody Rhodes' story is winning the championships. Sometimes roads diverge, So I don't know. That's my view on it, where I think that they're doing a good job right now of separating the stories, even though there's still one antagonist. I'm all in. I'm all in on it, and I loved this segment, especially the ending line
Well,
of
and I don't think that people are remembering that when Sammy was trying to integrate into the bloodline, Roman was one of the ones that first welcomed him with open arms. Like, it didn't take him a very long time to finally to just be like, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. So that is not a beef that had been going on for months. People are forgetting that Sammy had issues with Jay. So like that's a big part of the storyline too, because Jay immediately hated him, didn't like him. They didn't get along for
oh
months.
my, that was
And then
almost
it was
going
a
on for
huge
months.
deal when he finally accepted him and was calling him Sammy Uso. Then, we've seen him, he defended him in the tribal court. He's defending him after the Rumble, like by not participating and beating him up. He came out at Elimination Chamber and it seemed like he was going to be defending Sammy. Pause that for a second. I I feel like we say this every single week, but the way that they handled that situation at the end of Elimination Chamber with the handing of the chair and Roman turning his
Oh my
back
lord, the
and Jay
story.
like doing
Oh,
it was just like, dude, like this is so
it's
brilliant. Like it's
getting so
so
good. I'm
good.
saying.
So I think that a lot of people are forgetting that whole dynamic. So him transitioning from uh Roman feeling betrayed because I welcomed you into my family and now feeling like you took advantage of me and my kindness and blah blah blah, transitioning out of that into feuding with the Usos. I don't feel like it's a huge jump from one thing to the other. And I understand people's frustration because they wanted to see Sammy as the champion. I understand their disappointment and that's not what's happening. But I feel like there's still a lot of substance to this story that you can still easily get behind. And I think that him and Kevin Owens reuniting at one point, taking down the bloodline by it taking the tag team championships from the Usos is going to be just as satisfying as if we had seen Sammy win the titles. Like I know it's a quite a difference obviously, but I think that you're not going to be sitting there wishing he was WWE champion. I think that you'll
No,
you'll be content with the fact that he's paired with his best friend and that they took the Usos down. I think I mean I at least I think you should be.
no, you should. You absolutely should be. That's the thing is that people forget that exactly. This is not Sammy versus Roman. It's
Mhm.
Sammy versus the Bloodline. The
Yeah.
Bloodline to take them down. You already have an alliance with Cody. That was the whole promo in the ring. That was what that set up for anyone who you need a little insight there from the champ. Now that he has that with Cody, that's going to set up Cody's next opponent for the title. That's what that showed is that Sammy can be in that type of match. He can main event a pay-per-view for the title and put on an absolute stellar performance. And he's
Mhm.
going to do that with Cody Rhodes. That's all that's doing. Now, what you need to do though is you need to get the tag titles off these guys. And if Kevin and Sammy do that, then you can have them go on a little bit of a mini run, maybe like 2 months, 2.5 months, and then give it to a team like Phantasma,
Imperium.
Imperium. I'm not saying Hit Row. I love you, Hit Row, but you don't deserve it. It's just teams like that, even teams on Raw that'd be, more deserving. I don't know. They're just that's the way you do it, where it resets. It is the big reset button. Is KO Sammy versus the Usos at Mania, and then Roman Cody. It's just that's
Well,
what makes
because
sense.
what was funny to me too is people who were talking about that they were upset about the result of Elimination Chamber, which, like I said, I understand. But I was seeing people say, I don't know how they can take our mind off of this whole story for the next 6 weeks and somehow shove the Roman Cody stuff down our throat to make us care. And I'm like, are you new here? Like, have you been
Are you
watching
new here?
WWE like a long enough time to realize that they can make you not care about something in a matter of minutes? Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't take them that long. I mean, a lot of us have already moved on from the fact that Sammy lost on Saturday.
I
Like,
don't.
I'm
I
already like
don't
all
care.
in on like him gaining that friendship back with Kevin and taking
Yeah,
down the bloodline with the Usos. Like, I'm all in on that. And
that's all
so,
I
I
care
mean,
about.
I'm just speaking for myself, obviously, but I'm like, but
Yeah,
that's how television is. That's how shows are. You don't always get your desired result, but I don't think that what they're doing is wrong, because the only way that this would have worked is if they had gone with my theory or prediction for the Royal Rumble, which was having Sammy enter the Rumble and winning. That's the only way that that would have worked, but that didn't happen, and we knew that wasn't going to happen because
yeah.
the Rumble match was the first match. So it's like we would have already seen
It
it.
would. It wouldn't have made. Yeah, they would have to. Like he would have to have lost the titles to KO.
Yeah, and see, then I would have, then I can understand why you would be a little bit more disappointed, because you were given more of like a false hope that it could actually possibly happen. But I feel like it was pretty obvious to almost everybody. I think that it just got hyped because they were in Montreal and like his wife was there and they were showing these vignettes of
Oh,
him
they
in
made it.
Montreal.
Yeah,
Yeah, they made it very
they really
personal.
drew it out. Got it. You really played
Yeah.
with your emotions.
Yeah, so I get it, but I mean, they're doing that pretty well, I would say, with Roman and Cody right now. So, I mean, you can be a big fan of Sammy, but I think that we're still going to be happy with what ends up happening, or at least I'm excited. I'm excited about it.
I am too.
Um, so let's talk about bum ass Corbin.
I feel so bad for this motherfucker. I feel so bad.
Okay, so I have a lot to say. Okay, so for everyone who maybe didn't watch, I don't know, last week we were like, oh, he's desperate at this point because they had him go after Cody. And so we're like, okay, is this something that he's going to do every single week? Because he's just going to go after like the main like babyface or whoever is like super over at the time. And apparently, yeah, that's what he's gonna do. So he decided this week that he was gonna attack Sami Zayn. And I don't think that they realized that they were going to commercial when they did that, because like immediately when he came out, they went to commercial for like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
And I
I
was
was
like,
upstairs
yeah, no, it was like
making
a
food.
5 minute commercial break, and it had the like side by side so you could see what was happening. But obviously they don't want it to just happen during the commercial break and then you come back and nothing's happening. So it's just
Yeah,
kind of weird.
it's a very good
And then they
marketing tool.
they ended up having a
Advertising tool.
match. And of course Sammy wins. But I was thinking that it seems very similar to how they were with Heath Slater. Like that's kind of how I'm feeling right now, where they were having Heath just get his ass kicked every single week by a
That's
legend, basically.
that's such a poor no, that's such a well done comparison, but such a poor on Corbin's end to be compared to Heath
Yeah,
Slater.
yeah. Well,
That's
but this is
so
the
that's
thing.
just tough
But
company.
then the biggest difference, though, because I even wrote this, at least Slater was entertaining and funny with
He
his segments.
was.
Like
No,
I
he
was never a
was.
Heath Slater fan. It was actually a joke with like me and
We're
my friends that I hated
friends.
him. And he knew that I hated him. So when I met Nexus, he's not even looking in my photo. It's just like it was just a joke. It's like he knew I fucking
That's
hated him, so he didn't
incredible.
look.
That's
Um,
incredible.
but like he was funny, especially in the latter half of his run with WWE, and it was entertaining to see it happen. But you can't even say that about Corbin. So I'm like, I was talking to some people last night about it, and I'm wondering if we are going to see a return of Corbin being bum ass Corbin, just like sad Corbin, down and out Corbin, like because that was probably the most over he's ever been was during that era.
I would go NXT Corbin.
Well,
We
we're
would,
talking about main roster because
you bring him up.
that didn't
It's
transition well.
not, but it's Triple H. They could do something.
Well,
The
I
end of
know, but
days is still
no,
the
you're not
mo-
listening. I'm saying
I'm
that
trying.
is that is the most over he's been on the main roster, is all I'm saying. I'm not talking about like Vince or Triple H. I'm just saying, like, if we're talking about the main roster, they could go back to that. Obviously, we talked about him possibly going back to the lone
Yeah,
wolf or whatever, but I just don't see that happening, right? I mean, I guess it could. He could just be like, no one likes me, but like, I don't really understand that because he's attacking the
it'd be a
baby
step
faces.
down.
So
Yeah, it'd be a step down.
yeah, I don't. It seems more of like maybe he's gonna fall into a depression again. I don't know because like everyone hates him and he can't get a win, and it's like I don't know. I just are people interested in this? I don't know.
I like seeing Corbin in the ring with like a good match, but I'm not invested otherwise.
And I feel like this is what we say every week. Like I almost didn't even want to put it on here to talk about because I'm like I don't know what else we're supposed to say at this point because we've been talking about him for the last few weeks. Um and I just like there's just nothing new to really say. Like this is kind
Yeah,
of the road that we thought was going to happen and I'm just not I don't know. I guess we'll have to see the direction. I was never really interested in his character anyway, so I'm not like, "Oh man, I really miss when they
yeah.
did this," but I don't know what they're going to do to him. I kind of almost felt like this was his last hurrah, but
This is it. Yeah, if he doesn't, I could see him being released soon.
cuz I even said on Twitter and I think we've joked about it before, he's just basically like a caw at this point. Like
Yeah, he really
he
is.
he has the height and like the look kind of to be like a wrestler, but it if you I mean, and he's good in the ring. He's not like phenomenal, but he's not, he's not bad, obviously. But I mean, you don't stand out. You're not interesting. Like you're not like intriguing anybody. Like I don't know. You have to be unique in some way, and I just feel like it's just kind of like I don't know. On to something else that we care about. Paul
Yeah.
Heyman insulting Cody Rhodes.
See, this is where I care about this.
So, just to sum up what was happening, Cody came out to the ring, and I was waiting for him to be like, "So, what do you want to talk about?" And I was just like,
He almost did say
I
that.
know. And then Paul Heyman pops up on the Tron with a neck brace because
Of
why
course
wouldn't
he
he?
did.
And he was just saying how
Milking it.
Cody, you can't beat Roman, and even if you somehow were able to, you're not going to want to do this job, especially as double champion, because there are so many responsibilities that come with being double champion. You're going to be traveling for over 200 days. You have 50 days of charity work, and you have another 30 days of
Felt
promoting
like
overseas, and more time to promote house shows, and you'll only be home 60 days a year. And then he brought it, that was hitting home a little bit because Cody is married and Cody has a young daughter. So it's like, okay, maybe I don't want to do this because it would take me away. Then he makes it more personal by mentioning Dustin Rhodes and talking about how one time he had said that Dusty, when, he was gone a lot, but when he was home, he wasn't really home. And he's saying, oh, you don't want that to be you, right, Cody? Um, and then he got real personal when he said that he would
real.
not say anything crass about Roman and Brandy because Roman is a happily married man, but he says, but I'm not. And it was like, whoa, sir.
It was
Whoa,
Paul
sir.
Heyman being the just
A,
human slime ball that he
a
is.
troll.
Oh my god,
Um,
he's literally the penguin from Gotham.
and then
Like he's
obviously
unbelievable.
Cody gets pissed off.
Yeah.
Says that Roman is the best, but says, do not send this man to me again. Um, and so I liked it. I kind of wish that they had a little bit more back and forth because basically Cody is just like yelling about how mad he is and whatever. But I do wonder. Well, I have a couple questions. Do you think it has been the right move for Cody and Paul to be laying the groundwork for this feud? Because that's all we've seen so far. We haven't seen Cody and Roman come face to face yet. So I know that there's maybe some loose ends that they're still trying to tie up with Elimination Chamber and whatever, and maybe that's why Roman wasn't on Raw. But what do you think? Do you like that it's just been Paul?
Yes. Yes, because you can't have Roman right now. If you had Roman right now, it would be like a character on two different TV shows. Like it's you have to separate it because he still has to finish the Sammy story. That's the
Mm-hmm.
story right now. Cody Rhodes is it's another world. You know, that's another entity that is not going to combine until we say maybe next week. Maybe we get a SmackDown appearance from Cody just
I
once.
I
Like
still think that we need Roman on Raw at least
no, we
once.
will. We'll get Roman on Raw event, soon. But I'm saying within this feud, we might get Cody on SmackDown closer
Maybe.
to WrestleMania to like maybe jump him, do a backstage scene, whatever the case may be, to prep him for
I don't
double
think Cody's
duty.
gonna touch Roman until Mania.
No, I think. Oh, I think they don't. No, I think like give it 2 weeks before Mania. We'll have some
Okay,
fisticuffs
well
go
then
down.
we'll have different predictions. I'm saying Cody won't touch Roman before
So
Mania.
then, what is he gonna do? Then what's next week?
Bloodline.
Oh yeah, we're
Duh,
going. Oh
duh.
yeah,
He's not going to touch Roman. I think that that's what'll make it more interesting too. Is like the moment that they finally come face to face is going to be really exciting. But I do,
yeah,
I've said it a million times that I want Roman on Raw because he is double champion. He shouldn't be on just one show. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. And now that we are in the home stretch to Mania, I think it's important even more that he's on Raw because that's where his feud is at Mania. It's
yes.
on Raw. So I understand he needs to do both, but I mean, Sammy's doing double duty. He's on Raw and SmackDown more than Roman's
Kevin
been.
Owens is doing
Yeah.
double duty.
So it's like it
My
just seems a little
guy.
ridiculous that we're still just like, oh yeah, Roman's like on SmackDown. It's like maybe, and it's like because he's not even on every week either.
I
So
don't even think Roman knows what show
I
he's on.
I, I think he just is like I'm not going. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's
Like a
kind of he's just like I'm not
like a
I'm
little
not fucking
kid.
leaving.
I'm not going.
No, I'm not
You
going.
gotta go. No, I'm not going.
Um,
Roman's your
and
champion.
because this kind of ties into what we first talked about, do you think that they're doing a good job so far getting people to forget about Sammy and how they wanted him to be champ?
Yes, this week did it with his establishing he wants to take down the bloodline,
Mm-hmm.
and even last week on SmackDown with by the producer's truck with the J shit. Like those are little symbols or little road signs for the viewer that this is the road we're going down, whether you like it or not. We're not teasing Sammy as champion. It's not in the cards right now. It's not the time. His story is here, and that's where he's going to finish it with Jay. That was where it started. It's got to end there too.
Yeah, and I think the circumstances might be different if maybe Roman wasn't double champ, or if he was double champ, Sammy was going for one of the titles and not both. Then I think that they may
Yes.
have done that, but that's not the case. And I understand the frustration behind Cody seeming to be the one who's going to dethrone Roman because I've said it on here and I'll say it again. I was hoping for Cody to have a better storyline leading up to him becoming champ, like more obstacles, just because it would feel more of like vindication, validation, like
Yeah.
rather than he won the Rumble, so he was handed a Mania match, like a title match. I mean, like
Yeah.
I'm on that, and so I get it. But yeah, I think the storyline so far, how they're going about it, is the right way, and making it personal is the right way. And I think if you're mad about Sammy not being champion, shouldn't you just be happy that Roman's going to be dethroned? Like, isn't that the whole point? You
That's
wanted
the
him
whole
to be
point.
champion, and I get it. But at the end of the day, you wanted Roman to lose. So at least if Cody beats him, that means that Roman loses, right?
Yes.
So I mean, that's something we can all get behind. I would I would assume. Um, that is going to be a crazy. I already know that this is going to be a crazy WrestleMania. This
Oh,
is going
it's
to be
gonna be
absolutely insane.
absolutely it's going to be absolutely chaotic. It's just one of those events. Now, rewatching it now, it's getting me in the mood that they are they're going to ball out, and not just in the stars and what you expect in years past. Like, we're going to have some historic matches at this pay-per-view. I know for a fact. Even
Well,
like as he pops up on my screen, Logan Paul. We'll get to him, but I think he could be someone to steal the show.
yeah. Are you gonna read the comment or are you just popping it up?
Oh, I was waiting for us to.
Okay, you can read it. It's fine.
But yeah, David agrees with us saying yes, because Roman still isn't the best promos. I don't know about
I
that. He's got a lot
disagree.
better. He's got a
Yeah,
lot better. Him and there builds it because he's okay. That I do agree with though.
you have
Is
to
that
finish reading it.
Heyman in there builds it because he is the best at what he does. I already
You have to
I said
remember
it.
we have audio listeners. They can't see the comment.
Oh, maybe. So I think that Roman has got so much better. I mean, I forget what it was. I saw him cut a promo with the Shield recent, or
Not
like
even
on a YouTube clip, and
th-
now going into like this, tribal chief era. You feel like he is the tribal chief.
I was in awe of just the mannerisms that he had as he was watching Sammy make his entrance to elimination, into their match. Just the little things like facial expressions that when he did that to Sammy, oh my god. I was like, this man is so good at this character. Like he was built to be a heel, and if you told me this 5 years ago, I would have been like, you're joking. Because if we're really talking about the Shield, which you mentioned, he was the weak link of the Shield. And I say that in the most respectful way because
He was.
Seth Rollins, phenomenal. Dean Ambrose, phenomenal. Roman was the
God
muscle,
dang.
but he's come even a long way in the ring. So it's like not even just how he speaks and the promos he does or whatever. I mean, we'll never forget when Cena called him out for forgetting his lines on Raw.
Oh, it was so good.
Oh my god, that
So
hurt my
good.
soul because I was like, Cena. But then I was like, but I love the Shield boys. So it pained me. Um,
Pained me.
but yeah, no, I think that he's come a long way, and I'm actually looking forward to him and what he has to say to Cody because he's really good at being an asshole. So I think that especially since this is very similar to what he was just dealing with Sammy leading up to Elimination Chamber, it's very personal, it's very family focused, it's very historical. I think it's going to be easy for him to like get you guys to absolutely hate him. He's just so good.
He's so good at making you hate him.
He
He
is,
is.
but then at the same time, he's like, so it's like I love heels, so I'm like, I still love
Oh yeah,
you.
you just
Like,
your heart melts.
yes. Not for
Yes.
all of them because some of them I'm like, I just hate
Some of
you. I hate
them.
you. I know you're doing your job well, but I hate you even when you're not a heel. Okay. But that's not Roman for me. So but yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I'm very excited to see where it goes because as I said when we talked about the end of Elimination Chamber on Saturday, I still feel like there's a lot of directions that they can go in, and we kind of think that we know where they're going, but there's been so many twists and turns in the Bloodline storyline. I don't know what direction they're gonna go. And, even with Owens and Sammy, who knows how long that's going to take, how it's going to transform into them going after the Usos, what's going to happen with Jay on SmackDown. And there's so much. There's so much.
So
Um,
much action.
so speaking of heels, we saw Asuka versus Nikki Cross last night, which was fine. It was a, good old match.
I
Bianca
want to give
Belair.
Nikki Cross praise here.
Oh my
I
gosh.
was I
She
what?
is
Oh, okay,
her no,
good.
she's just I'm so glad that she's back to this character because you can just tell that it's just like so much more her element, but they're also making it more intriguing because of the whole thing with Candice LeRae.
She's got
So
something going on with Loomis, or there's definitely I saw online someone said EY might come back, and I
who?
feel like Eric Young, EY.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said Eli. I was like, who's Eli?
Uh, I feel
That would
like
be awesome.
that would be That would be really
And then
good.
she's gonna find her friend because she said she lost all her friends. All her friends left her. What if? Oh my god! I'm so excited because I hated Nikki Ash. I hated that for her, but I I like that she could have trashed it so bad, and she said that it was a really fun time in her career because kids loved her so much. And I was like,
Yeah,
that's such a sweet way to look at it
that's
because
a genuine answer.
because it's like when you think about it with like Stardust, right? Like Cody hated it, and I'm sure I get it for how long it was going and whatever, but it's like
Biggest slap in the face.
yeah, but with her, it kind of felt very similar to me. It was like we don't know what to do with you, so we're just gonna throw you in this costume and make a joke out of you, kind of. But the fact that she tried to turn it into something positive, I thought that was really cool. But I am very glad to have her back to this like complete maniac.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, she's really good at it. So, kudos to her. So we did see Bianca. She came out and she sat at the commentary desk. She wasn't doing commentary, but she was sitting there so she could watch the match. So this seemed kind of like the beginning of their storyline, but it basically just was at the end of the match they got in the ring and they're just kind of like looking at each other, and it just became Bianca was just grossed out by the blue mist in Asuka's mouth. So I'm like, I think we need a little bit more substance here. But do you
Mhm.
think that this means Asuka's going to be turning heel?
Yes, this was a telltale sign that she's turning heel.
But how do you think she's going to turn heel? Is she going to like attack Bianca or
It's gonna be little moments like the blue mist. You'll see her do some weird, no, I don't want to say like horrific, but I mean like horror type stuff. And since Bianca is, I would say, this, superhuman type figure, we might see the closest thing to supernatural that you can with Asuka, if that makes sense. Like she's gonna do some weird, shit with this new gimmick type or character that she already has. She's going back to her Japanese roots, the New Japan shit. Like,
yeah,
yes, like this is what we want. The wrestling fans now don't really care about the glitz and glamour and like the hottest wrestler. Like they want to see ass
yeah,
kicking, and
yeah.
Asuka kicks ass. That's where we're gonna see it, and we'll get what we might see now that I talked this through is a lot of stuff like what I said with the little weird shit going on. And then there's gonna be like a tag team match. Maybe not like 2-on-2, but like, it's definitely like a tag team match within feuds. And Asuka's gonna either turn on her purposely or accidentally. And then that's just gonna be this rolling snowball.
I kind of feel like them trying to turn her heel is probably I don't know if it's gonna work because people just love Asuka. So I feel like it'll kind of be the way that Lesnar was has been booked recently, where it was like he was supposed to be the heel,
Yeah,
but
but
he's
he's
not.
not at all.
But it's like he's still teetering that line
Yes.
because it's like he's still being booked as a heel. So I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if that happens with Asuka because I feel like in a
Right.
way she's kind of just untouchable because I mean the audience is going to react to her how they want to react to her no
That's
matter what she's
that's what I was
doing.
gonna ask you. That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you. Is that like now with heels in wrestling that obviously we just know more. The fan just knows more,
Yeah.
which is a good and bad thing. Is it a bad thing that they know that you're not supposed to like them, but they like it anyways? Like, couldn't that just work in her favor regardless? Like,
I think
they
in a
want to see
way,
her beat up, but yeah, you
but
go.
I think that people also figured out how things worked under Vince McMahon. So it's like people are going to root for who they want to
Great
root
line.
for.
It's a great
So,
line.
I mean, that never stopped me. Like there were times where I went to a couple shows and I had signs for Dashing Cody Rhodes. Was I supposed to have signs for Dashing Cody Rhodes? No, because he was a heel and I was supposed to hate him. But um I remember my friends and I we were on the floor and I think it was around SummerSlam and we were cheering so loud for him like you could actually hear us during the
That's
broadcast
hilarious.
and he acknowledged us he acknowledged his tribal chiefs and
He
like
acknowledged
thanked
you, Sarah
us
Marshall.
for cheering for him when the camera was down, because this was SmackDown back then, so it was like pre-taped.
Yeah. I remember this.
But yeah, he waited until the cameras were off, to make sure. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm not gonna not root for this guy just because, like,
You're my
you know,
guy.
because you don't want me to. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna root for him because I like him. So, yeah, I don't know if that'll play into it with Asuka, but I could see maybe she gets a little bit more heat because people love Bianca. So
They do, but people also would love to see a new champion.
yeah, well, I think that's pretty obvious that that's gonna happen, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Um, Moving on to Seth Rollins. So we got Sethy talking about Mr. Logan Paul to Kathy backstage. He said he's going to find and hurt Paul, but that he is going to take out his anger on the Miz tonight
Because he's the
to
one who brought
show
him
him
here.
what he can do. So my thought is I'm trying to get behind this feud, and I've said it before that, I think that they're going to have a really good match at Mania. Like, I don't doubt that. My problem is the feud and what it's going to be leading up to WrestleMania, because I'm irritated that Seth is not getting like a better feud at Mania, because I just wish that it was better. We don't have to get into it. But I really think that Logan needs to be on Raw almost every single week between now and Mania. He cannot be just showing up on one Raw between now and then. He can't be just doing video things. He can't, because to me that's so unfair. Like, you can't be having this kind of thing, right? Where it's like Seth is like talking trash to about Logan to a backstage interviewer, and then the next week, like, oh, maybe we'll see Logan, or Logan responds via video message. Like, no, because no, it made
Because
sense.
no, okay.
Yeah, it made sense
Okay.
last year because we
Oh,
weren't
the
supposed to
build up,
know.
yes, that
We
makes sense.
That's what I'm saying. It made sense last year because Cody wasn't there. We weren't supposed to know that Cody was going to be the one that was going to be his opponent. So like that made sense. But now that we already know that this is inevitably going to be Seth's Mania opponent, I think we need to see him more on Raw, because WrestleMania is a huge event and it's important. And the fact that Seth is being put on the card again, he deserves to have an in-person feud and not just, oh yeah, we're gonna just play this like game of tag. Like, yeah,
I
that's
don't mind it at all. I
of
don't
course you don't.
mind. I get it.
You
And
don't want him to show up at all.
I don't. Well, no, not at all. He'll make his appearances, but there's so much talent right now on the show. Do you really want to see Logan Paul every week?
No, but I do think that if he's going to be feuding with one of your top stars, that your top star deserves to have the feud in person and not have it one time and then he has to carry it for the next 5 weeks. I think that's ridiculous.
No, they'll both do video stuff. Like it'll be a lot of video, social media stuff, and it'll be
But social media
appearances that,
isn't.
like Logan Paul, for instance, March 6th, that Raw show, Logan Paul will be there. I know that because it's a big city, big Raw right before Mania, like a month away, a little bit
It's
under.
big because it's seen as going to be there. That's why you're saying. And it's in
No, I'm
Boston.
saying that's another added. That's like more hot fudge on the Sunday. Is that Cena's going to be there?
Well,
That just of like,
I need him to be on at least 2 or 3 Raws between now and then.
oh,
That's what I'm saying.
easily. Oh,
He has to. Well, I'm saying if we're
take the
saying
over.
it's 5 weeks from Saturday, I need him to be on half of those shows in person. Is what I want. Because I know I'm biased that, because of Seth, but I just think that it's just so lame that you're going to give him this match and then you're not even going to have him have a proper feud in person. Like, the social media thing is great and all, but not the entire audience does not have social media. So you can't be having all of this stuff go on online when there's tons of people who don't watch social media or have social media or pay attention to what's going on. So like, it has to be happening on Raw or it doesn't count. Like, do you think 10-year-olds are on social media? I mean, they might be, but I'm
Yes,
saying like,
yes, I
but I'm
absolutely
saying
know
like
they're on
if
social
they have
media.
better parents, like they're not online all the time. Um,
They are.
but
They
yeah,
are.
well, my kid won't. Sorry, future kid. But
Oh,
anyway, yeah. So that's what I want because then I can get more behind on it. I don't want to. I don't want to be upset about it. Okay, I'm just protective of Seth.
you're very protective of his
I'm very
character. I love
protective
it.
of the ones I love.
That's the
You know?
mama bear in you.
Yeah, yeah, that's me. Uh, so we also had a damage control, and it was announced that they were going to be facing Becky and Lita next week on Raw
I
for
love this segment.
the women's tag team championships. So, um, this I still find interesting. I love that the crowd still goes absolutely berserk for Lita. But what I thought was interesting was allegedly Trish was supposed to be on Raw last night. She was supposed to be there like
Yeah,
a
it was
week
in
before.
fucking Canada.
Yeah, so I don't know for sure if she was backstage, but I know that she was like supposed to be on Raw. I don't
Well,
know.
that makes so much sense, Sarah.
I don't
Why
know.
was Trish not on Raw?
I don't know. So from
That's
what I understand,
I
we
disagree
had
with
talked
her.
about it possibly being Becky, Lita, and Trish versus
Yeah,
Damage Control at Mania. But from what I have read, the plan, which is still a dumb plan for Mania, is still Damage Control versus Rousey and Shayna Baszler. And
there's
I'm just
no
like,
fucking way
that
that's still the
cannot be
plan.
it. I want to say, I
There's
want to shake Triple H and be like, first of all, who's turning?
no, it's a red herring. It's
Who's
it's
turning?
it's gonna be Trish, Lita, Becky versus Damage Control.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we were saying, but I was saying that I'm reading still that is not the plan. That is Rousey and Baszler versus Damage Control.
Oh,
But it doesn't make any sense because if you turn Damage Control, then that impacts Bailey, who's better as a heel right now. And you can't turn Rhonda and Shayna because no one cares about them right now and everyone hates them. So you can't just magically turn them and get people behind Rhonda, especially. Like, that's not going to work. But I think it would be kind of cool to see Trish, Lita, and Becky versus Damage Control
that'll be a
because,
banger match.
I mean, I would love to see Bailey get like a big Mania match, though, like solo match, like singles match. So, but obviously, we're not going to see Lita and Trish versus Damage Control for the tag titles. Like, that's kind of ridiculous. But
Different era. We would
yeah,
have
so,
a couple of years ago. We might.
but then I wonder too, right? If they do just keep it as this, right? Like maybe they get a rematch at Mania or something. I don't know. So it is Becky and Lita versus Damage Control. Then where does that leave Bailey for Mania?
She fights Trish.
I know, but then how does Trish get involved?
I
That's
don't
what I
know.
mean. Like, I don't know. So it's a very complicated situation. I really hope that it doesn't end up involving Rousey or Shayna because I no. I don't know that anyone would really care, That's just
Mhm.
not just me. But then another interesting thing, are we seeing the eventual breakup of Alpha Academy?
No,
Because there was some drama
I know.
last night. So we're seeing
I
Maxine Dupree um still pursue Otis to join Maximum Male Models. And he was distracted last night when Gable was in a match and this became this whole thing. So do you think this is a good idea? Because it really does look like this is what's happening. It looks like they're going to attempt to break them up, but I don't, I'm not sitting here being like, I'm going to buy a shoosh shirt, but they're entertaining enough that I wouldn't want to see them break up.
they're teasing a breakup, which will eventually lead to a feud with the Maximum Male Models. And the Maximum Male Models are going to get some time with Alpha Academy, who are very over, and then that will put them to the limit. Because let's put it this way: it's the classic story of Maxine Dupree, the girl next
Dupree?
door,
Dupree?
Dupree, the girl next door who is all she's got it all, the hair, the looks, the whatever, and she's a model, and she goes after this strong guy. He's strong, let's put it that way. He may be round, but he's strong.
He's meaty.
He is meaty.
Mhm.
Mr. Meaty. Oh, I'm not. I can't give him that nickname. Point is that what you're gonna see is that what we already saw a little bit with Mandy Rose. Remember that whole saga?
Yeah.
Except we saw how Mandy like legit cared for him, where when she doesn't here, she's just using him as a piece of property. That's what it's going to turn into, and the two guys that are in Maximum Models apparently are really good. So if they can be good in the ring and sell this gimmick, then I'm for it.
I feel like they've done a pretty good job on the few moments that they've actually talked, like, during these
So good,
backstage segments. Like, it's
yes.
so corny, but it's, like, kind of funny.
But you need that in wrestling.
No, I
You
know, so
need
that's
the
what I mean,
corny.
like, before these random segments, I don't think anyone really cared, especially basically since, um, LA Knight became LA Knight again. It's like, I kind of just stopped caring at all about
Hmm.
what was going on with them. Um, but yeah, I think it will be interesting because as obnoxious and ridiculous as the gimmick is, I feel like they're doing a pretty good job with it. I mean, because it seemed like a punishment type of gimmick from Vince McMahon, but the fact that it's still around and they're still getting airtime and we're even talking about them because
Yeah,
they've been on Raw.
we're giving them some airtime.
Yeah, so I think that
Pretty
that
good.
is an indication of them doing a pretty good job and probably how Triple H feels about it or how they even feel about it because I'm sure like once Triple H came in, probably had a conversation with them or they had a conversation with him and they could have easily been like, dude, we don't want to do this shit anymore. Like, LA Knight's gone. What was his name again? What did they have his name?
Max Dupree.
Max Dupree? Okay.
Yeah, Max and Maxine.
Yeah.
Great,
That just
great.
seemed too obvious to me, so that's why I was like, that can't be right.
Oh no, but it's Vince
Um,
McMahon, so it's pretty damn obvious.
I still can't believe that was ever real.
I can't either.
Like, what a waste, Vince. Vince, what were you doing? How do you take a guy that was so over in NXT as LA Knight and you bring him up and decide to make him into a model scout? Like, can you please
Yeah.
explain to me who told you that was a good idea? I'm just confused. Um, Anyway, moving on to the main event, we did see that Austin Theory said after Elimination Chamber that he was going to be doing a U.S. title open challenge. And Mr. Edge said that he would be answering. So obviously, this was a great match. Unfortunate ending, but we'll get into that in a second. Um, Now that we have okay, first of all, I like that they had Edge answer. Originally, I wasn't on board with it because I was like,
Mm,
whatever. But I like it because I think that it is again solidifying Theory as a champion and as a wrestler because now he's against like he went against four different dudes or five different dudes in Elimination Chamber, came out the victor. Then he's facing Edge, who's a Hall of Famer, phenomenal wrestler, came out on top, regardless of how it happened. He still did. So I think that was a really good idea. But do you think he's going to continue these U.S. Open challenges? And I'm asking this because I hope it does.
I in some way, shape, or form. It may not be the
Every week.
traditional him coming out to the ring and saying I'm issuing an open challenge,
Yeah.
but we will get, backstage segments of him walking in the locker room, starting some beef, and the guy going, "Hey, I hear you got some open challenge. It's
Mm-hmm.
my time to answer the call," or something like that. And then they
Your
have the
time is
match.
up. My time is
Yeah,
now.
and what if, hear me out. What if every response that he gets is like a Cena reference?
That would be sick. Dude, I don't care what happens between now and Mania. I
Why
just
am I
need him
not
to do a
writing for this
US Open
fucking
challenge and Cena answer it. That's all I care about. I would love for Cena to not be booked, quote quote, officially for Mania. And Theory just comes out and he's pissed because he's like, I don't have a match. I'm gonna do a
Mhm.
US Open challenge. I don't care who it is. Anybody in the back can come out, and then we hear da da da, and then it's John Cena. Oh my god, I would start crying.
I
I would
also would.
instantly start crying. You know what would be even cooler is if he came out to Basic Thugonomics because that is what got Theory to be a fan to begin with. So imagine you going against your idol, dude.
I dream about it a lot.
I dream about being in a match with John Cena too. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. That's what I'm hoping for. So that's why I'm like, I'm on board with him doing US Open challenges from now till Mania, because that's what I want. I want it to end up being Cena at Mania.
I
You
agree.
know?
I agree
Okay.
with that. Yeah.
But then because he faced Edge and because of how the match ended with Finn Balor interfering and whatever, I was really hoping that we were going to already be seeing the end of Judgment Day versus Edge. I mean, maybe the entire Judgment Day is done feuding with Edge. I'm wondering if this means that we're going to be seeing Edge versus Finn. Is this going to be a setup for their Mania match, which I think is going to be
Hell in
absolute
a Cell.
fire?
It's Hell in a Cell at
That
Mania.
would be good.
They couldn't do it at Rumble because of Edge's filming schedule.
Oh, okay. I would love that but then I need Finn to win, and then I need Edge to just go bye-bye, because I'm like, stop. Let Finn win. Okay. But if like, let's say that's his last match, Edge is winning, obviously. So that's kind of unfortunate. But
Yeah, because
I do
Edge would
think,
have to put that would put his like. But then, or do you kill Judgment Day by doing that?
well, Judgment Day is probably going to be dead anyway, because Rhea's going to become SmackDown champion. So we talked about that, remember? That feels like the end of Judgment Day right there.
I like
But
Judgment
then think
Day.
about this.
I like Judgment Day. They were
Think
cool.
about this. So do I. Think about this. Jay White signs with WWE. They show it happens at Mania. They form the Bullet Club. Finn joins the Bullet Club. He goes from Judgment Day to Bullet Club.
So then the Bullet Club would run WWE.
Yeah.
That would be. See, if that's the era of wrestling that we're about to live in,
because
think
about it. Think about it. If that ends with Judgment Day, Roman is gonna be dethroned. The Usos are gonna lose the tag titles. That means the end of the bloodline. They're gonna want a new group that
but
runs.
they can't call it Bullet Club. They'd have to.
They're not. They would just call them the club, the original club, or the club.
Oh yeah. I forgot. Okay.
And they're, oh my gosh, I need it to happen so bad because I want Finn to be in the club so bad.
They need and you know what? They do need a faction like that to run show on WWE.
And that is a faction that can be good or bad. That's a faction that can be babyfaces or heels. That is the one that you could very easily transition from one to the other. It's not really the case with like the bloodline. Like you could, but it's like they're too deep now that they can't be baby faces at this point. But that is one that it's like 1 week people would hate them and the next week they would love them. Instantly they're going to love them because of who it is. And if Jay White comes, people are going to be like, oh my god, this, who's this guy? This guy is awesome, whatever.
He's so fucking awesome.
They could have AJ Styles. People love AJ.
Sara, people forget he is not around right now, but he is still very much on the.
But he also could be back by Mania because he had a broken ankle. So he's been out for like a month or 2 months at this point. So he should be good, I would assume, at least enough to be back by Mania. And maybe not wrestling, but enough to be like there, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Now that I just thought of this, now I want it so bad that it's like disappointing me because it's probably not going to happen. I think part of me too wants the Bullet Club so bad because I never got to see a proper showing of the NWO and WWE. You know?
The what?
A proper showing of the NWO and WWE because Vince squashed it so bad.
Well, that's what this club would be.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying I feel like I want to see the Bullet Club like in WWE even more so than I normally would, probably because of things like that, is what I'm saying. Because I feel like it's just so good that you can't just like pass up the opportunity again and again and again. Like you have it at your fingertips. And if we're going to get rid of Judgment Day, whatever, like as much as I love Judgment Day, I love Bullet Club Finn so much more. Damian Priest will be fine. He'll go off and do something. Dominic is just going to be a puppy for
Rhea. Or he could join it.
Possibly.
He could join the club.
That would be good too.
Why not? Why couldn't he join?
But as long as the Bullet Club doesn't become like what the NWO became, where
no,
it was like
they won't.
Literally the entire roster.
It'll be like a little bit less than Aces and Aces from Impact when they did that. Like the when I say less than, I mean members.
Yeah.
That's what I envision for them at least in this style. They need to get a new crop of fans in. That's what this Triple H era is all about. And if it wasn't, then we might as well go back to Vince. Is that you need a new type of wrestling to come in. That's what happens in this type of shit. I see it being with these Japan guys and these, Finn, AJ type of wrestlers where it's like, oh shit, you could even get some AEW guys to now jump ship. That like doing that creates the feud and the ratings wars, whatever you want to call it, that fans definitely and desperately need.
Yeah. Well, and I think that Priest too, thinking about it, obviously Razor was his guy, hence why he does the Razor's Edge.
Yeah.
And does the surf walk sometimes. He used to
Mm-hmm.
during his entrance.
He
So that
still
would
does.
oh, well, not all the time. Not as often as he used to is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Um but yeah, no, that would be pretty cool. I am all for that. Oh my gosh, see, this is why like WWE is just very exciting right now. It's just so exciting. I'm just so excited. And I'm glad that I have a lot of interest in a lot of different people and storylines right now.
Oh, me too.
Far
It's
too
nice to have
often before
variety.
it would be like, oh, I only care about like Seth or something. And then the rest of the show is like, eh. But I'm glad that I kind of, have multiple feelers out, like, and I
Yeah,
care about all sorts of different things going on right now.
I
And that I've
agree.
become fans of people I never thought I would say. I know. I still
Hey,
hate his
Joe
music though.
down.
I hate it. I hate it. Every
It
time I
came
hear
on
it, it's like
shuffle, and it was really weird as
I
I'm driving
don't
a
like
fish van.
it. I just
It's
hate
just
it.
like, hey, Joe down.
I also just kind of want him to have I don't know, like it's whatever. I get it. He likes it. It's like a guy who rapped for him or whatever, to include A Town Down, whatever. But I feel like he kind of needs like a more hardcore song or like a more ass kicking sounding song. Like it doesn't have to be rap, doesn't have to be like hard
I agree
rock or
with that.
anything, but
He
I
definitely
feel
does
like
need a new theme,
yeah, I think that this one's a little bit too upbeat for his I'm not a kid character anymore.
like grungy. You think a grungy
Yeah,
type
like
of
I just
feel?
feel I just don't know that it really fits like even how he's presenting himself, like the way he's dressing and how he's talking and how he's performing in the ring. Like I just don't know that this really fits. Like it would be like if Cena kept his song and became a heel. Like it just doesn't no, it doesn't work. You have to kind of
Switch it up.
figure it out. Yeah, because I don't know. When I hear his music, I don't think of a heel, but I don't know. That's a conversation for another day. But that was raw.
That was raw. That was raw. Thank you for
That
all who
was
tuned
raw.
in for this Raw Rewind edition of Pitts and Sarah's Wrestling Show. If you want more of Pitts and Sarah's Wrestling Show, this is a podcast as well. It's what it initially started as, and we have our podcast link on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, you name it, we're there. So go to wherever you listen to your podcast, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment and a 5-star rating too, por favor. And then follow us on the socials for all things wrestling and sports and other things because this is our main interest, our passion, but we're humans. We like other things as well. So go and branch out a little bit. Yep, go Pats, baby. Go nonsense. Follow at Pat_Pitts to follow me on Twitter at SMarshXO for Sarah. On Instagram, I've been trying to boost my Instagram game up a little bit.
I'm never on Instagram,
I'm
so
trying. My views, the stories I put, the views in the morning are just makes getting up at 5 a.m. worth it. I will say that. And Pitsy35 on Instagram and SMarsh_ for Sarah. And if you're watching on our Twitter pages right now, we're on Sarah's YouTube channel. Okay, Sarah has a YouTube channel, Sarah Marshall XO, on YouTube, where we don't just do live streams, but we cut up the clips for you. So, say you don't want to listen to us ramble, about Rick Boogs or The Miz or Dominic Mysterio, or maybe you do, and that's the only thing you want to see. Well, we have a clip right there in the archives, the library for you to
Rick Boo's
check out.
biggest fan is like, what the fuck?
I
What do you mean?
He's coming at the Boogs crew.
Yeah, how dare you?
How dare the champ do that?
Unsubscribe.
So go, yeah. So we do make it easy for you. Okay, so go check those out. And in the meantime, we'll be back on Thursday with our show, the actual Pits and Sarah's Wrestling Show, where Sarah, a little tease right now. We gotta introduce what season we're in. Okay, we have to
WrestleMania.
introduce it. We have to introduce it. I'm
So how
already
many do I have
starting.
to watch between now, like 1 and 2? Like I should watch 1 and 2 between now and Thursday?
Yeah, I mean, you can. What I'm doing is little peel back the curtain. Is I'm having this just run when I get home, and I just like look over, and when I fall asleep, that's when I restart it. So right now I'm at 4. The Ultimate Warrior is running down the entrance ramp for this tournament,
Are you sure he's
and
not walking?
I don't think that man knew what walking was.
He didn't learn how to walk. He learned how to run.
He's just running, he's getting crazy. So yeah, I'm doing that. So we'll make it part of the 3 count or something where we just like, or even part of the intro, whatever. You know, we don't have to worry about it. You
Okay.
have to worry about it, the peeps listening, because that's when you got to tune in. So thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you can do is try. We'll see you Thursday.